A young British girl has inherited a pub with a creepy shape-shifting bar wench in the basement. So what's the new owner to do? Stick around and play a game of Talk to Me, of course. Asking it to roleplay with deceased people from the past. Get ready for some hop, skip and jump scares in Baghead. Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Boy Reviews. I'm, of course, your host, Andrew Iles. That's right, Baghead, directed by Alberto Corredor. He got the small studio treatment by getting a feature film adaptation of his short film, Baghead. Let's see where this goes. We meet our protagonist, Iris. Just a second, let me fix that one up. There we are, better. She's a down-on-her-luck Gen Z who just can't catch a break. But luckily, she inherits an old English pub from her estranged father. Turns out her daddy turned himself into an extra crispy zinger burger by trying to burn down his 400-year-old pub. Of course, Iris jumps on a plane, goes and checks out the place, and then makes the decision to sign the deed from the creepiest lawyer ever, which can only go well. She then decides to stay and sleep in the pub and drink all of the whiskey until a convenient plot device drops in her lap. And wouldn't you know it, an obvious grieving young man pays Iris $4,000 worth of cash just to get access to the basement for reasons. No, he says there's an ancient entity down there that can let him speak to his deceased wife. Iris, of course, says yes because she needs the cash. Seems to be the easiest way to make coin in this town besides doing OnlyFans. So she takes the guy's money, they head down to the basement to see what he's on about. Turns out the guy was right, and they meet the creepy chick from The Ring with Jason Voorhees' bag on her head, and she contorts and crawls out of a hole in the wall. It's not long before we discover this ancient being in the basement is in fact a witch.
A witch! A witch! A witch!
And Iris quickly learns that if this basement witch puts personal belonging of a deceased person in her mouth, the witch gives you 2 minutes of that deceased person's time. And you can get all the answers and all the closure you want for 2 minutes. That's before the witch starts taking control again and starts screwing with your head. Of course, things start to go tits up, and then Iris's diverse friend decides to do a little bit of investigating into the pub's past. While this happened, the basement witch,
A witch! A witch! A witch!
begins to get into Iris's head, messing with her subconscious, and tries to find a way to gain her freedom. And it's not until about the 30-minute mark before the end credits where we get some convenient exposition dumping, which gets us all up to speed before a twisty twist ending. The film uses its low budget pretty bloody well, and only utilising about 4 locations. It's an extremely small cast too, with I think about 4 main players and 2 featured extras. The witch is of course all kinds of creepily, contorting her body in all the cliche kinda awesome ways. And when she gets the chance, playing a game of hop, skip and jump scares with us all. The film is very dark visually and coming across as very cold, but it works for the film's setting. All the characters are pretty cold too, all having that stiff British upper lip, and you're not knowing who you really want to side with as the movie goes on. And thankfully the film is only 1 hour and a half, the perfect runtime for one of these creature features of the week. The concept of this film is very much Talk to Me, but it does its own little thing in its own creative way. I was intrigued and invested the whole film, wondering how they were going to tackle the subject. Although it is a little bit of a nitpick, I just wish that they had more customers for the basement witch to mess with more people with their own kind of grief and their own kind of experiences that the witch can exploit and mess with. But unfortunately, there's only really 1 customer. Like I said, the cast is only really a cast of 4. And the film does slow down in the second third, unfortunately, all about Iris and her subconscious. If I was a cynical man, I'd say they were trying to pad out a short film concept to feature length. But in saying that as a nitpick, it was still pretty bloody good. It wasn't groundbreaking or life-changing by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one of the better low-budget horror films that I've seen in the cinema recently. I enjoyed it almost as much as Smile. And it is shit tons better than both Night Swim and It Lives Inside. Yeah, this film, Baghead, good, cheap fun. Anyway guys, that's my cheeky little review of Baghead. Write down below if you've seen it, what are your thoughts on it, but more importantly, what is your favourite low-budget creature feature? And of course, if you've made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up because your love and support keeps me going because I just love movies and I assume you do as well. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon because I give it an episode weekly and I'll see you back here next week for the next review, and until then, stay spooky kids.